let's take a look at the first topic, which is understanding the self-care. All right, about the framework itself. All right. So I want to start this session with a very simple self-reflection for you all. Okay, you don't have to jump in with your answer. We may not have time for it, but I just want you to take a bit of time to reflect on your own state of well-being right now. Okay, so if I were to ask you from a scale of 0 to 10, maybe 1 to 10, 1 being extremely poor and 10 being excellent, where do you think your well-being is? All right, and this well-being can include emotional, physical, psychological, mental, anything. Right? If you feel fatigued sometimes, you feel very tired easily because you're not able to get up, or feel like every day is like a repetition of certain things, or you're just feeling easily anxious, then it might be likely that self-care is an issue. And you'll be surprised that a lot of problems that we face that we think, oh, is it psychological, or is it mental health problem, or is it me got problem? Actually, it's really that you just need the rest. Okay, the rest can be like everyday frustration from whatever you're going through, or it's something else essentially. Okay, so second question I'd like you to think about is, which areas do you think gets fulfilled in your life? Do you think that there's anything that you feel fulfilled about in your life, or there isn't anything at all? Or maybe you might feel that everything in your life is lacking. Okay, everything is frustrating. All right, for example, you feel like it's hurting there, it's hurting there. One thing that we want to understand is, if we think negatively, I'm not saying that negative thinking is bad. Okay, that is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is negative thinking is in fact natural when everything is perceived to be going wrong and we're not resting enough. Okay, so if, for example, we're experiencing a lot of frustration, this aching, that aching, etc., right? It is not uncommon, right, that it would actually affect our self-care, because you're producing a lot of this thing called the cortisol, or stress hormone. And this thing about stress hormone is that it doesn't need you to be actually stressed. Okay, all you need to do is just not feel happy or feel annoyed with things, or just a built up of many small things that irritates you. That would actually helps to produce a lot more cortisol. So those are undesirable, and it would create a lot more problem, basically, right? So when we look at self-care, so you can think about that, right? When we look at self-care and the lack of it, how do you think this affects you? Right? How do you think this affects you? Again, you can just think about that for a moment. If you have anything to jump in, feel free. This is something that I want you to take some time. If you want to jump in, you can. Maybe just 30 seconds quickly. How do you think lack of self-care affects you as a person? Anyone? If you're still there. Okay, if you're not there, it's okay. Feel free to jump in. If you don't feel comfortable writing it in, it's okay, right? So self-care, lack of it, can influence you in many ways. Can influence your relationship with people, and you get more irritable. Or you might notice that you snap easily, and you might think that, why am I always getting angry with people? Okay, or you're just not enjoying things as well as before, right? Or you feel that your mood is getting lower sometimes. This can be a byproduct of life of self-care, basically. And it is just mainstream levels of just built out of negative emotions, negative stress hormones, and just build out lots of toxin. So these are all affecting you, okay? And if we don't do something about it, usually it might last longer, and it might trigger to other forms of situations as well. Most of it is like mood and your overall quality of life, right? So if you think that struggling with arthritis is really like problematic enough, for example, or it's really irritating enough, okay, if you do not manage the self-care part, it might even make it worse, right? Research have shown that positive emotions does influence, the overall experience of your well-being, regardless of whether you're recovering from a surgery, or you're struggling with arthritis, or you're struggling with something else, okay? So what we want is actually using self-care to induce a more positive experience in your day-to-day life. So if you lack that, if you lack self-care, then you will be lacking those positive experiences as well.